Thanks for attending our GP 2015 What's New webinar this morning. My name is Mary Truas. I am Business Development here at K2. We also have Barry Stroud today. He's our Senior Business Consultant and BI Specialist. Just to let you know how this webinar is going to work, all of our attendees are muted right now because we do record these webinars to put on our YouTube channel and website. If you have any questions, you can type them into the GoToMeeting chat box, and we will answer all questions at the end. So we're going to get started.
Is it okay, Tom? Or no?
Thanks, Mary, for the introduction. Today's agenda is basically going to go over an overview of GP, what's new for GP 2015 and 2013 R2, because a lot of you haven't seen that, and a lot of the 2015 features actually the capability of 2013 R2. Some of the things that I'm going to highlight is dashboards that have been that have come out with the new version, a Smart List Designer functionality, and workflows attached, intercompany, Excel paste, and then some integration happened BP for Management Reporter, and then give you a location for some of the
I'm still there. Okay.
So for an overview perspective, what are the big updates that Microsoft has laid out? Really, there are four big updates addressing is a service-based architecture, Azure integration, and then applications or apps on multiple platforms. Now, from a service-based architecture, what this means to you as an end user is that there's the capabilities of 2015 to be more integrated with the web client, allow the ISVs and other third-party applications to enhance functionality and also give more capability to a developer rather than just a plain dexterity developer. Identity management, from that perspective, allows the application 2015 to sync your SQL login, your GP SQL login with Office 365 applications so that you don't have to add in multiple tabs. I mean, you're going to be syncing all those applications together. And then obviously Azure, you can now back up your SQL databases to Azure, some integrations like that. You can also host your GP 2015 or 13 on an Azure platform, and then there's applications that are coming out, or apps coming out from an Android or Apple perspective that allow you to view your data on those applications. So I'm just going to get right into the demo of GP and go through some of those aspects of what we were talking about. So the first one was mainly dashboard. And what has happened with the newest version of GP 2013 is they created within the aspect of GP, you can deploy Excel reports. And they created four dashboards, one for financial data, inventory, the sales, and then obviously payables information. And this is available in 2013 R2 and also 2015. And the great thing about that is that they've done some of the legwork for you, where you get this without even accessing GP. Basically look at the timeline and scroll different time periods, and the data dynamically changes. So what's the added feature to 2015 that really works with 2013? Well, the benefit here on the 2015 perspective is that they've enhanced the capabilities on Smart List, that I now can create refreshable Excel reports. So all I need to do is publish a view on my SQL Server. It could be any view that I create, or it could be a view from a particular website. I always like to use Victoria Uden website. She has a lot of great views out there. The one that I published here on the screen for my designer is basically her view on SOP data. And what I did is I just went into new, came down here to view, and in the company that I published it in, found the view name and created a Smart List from there. And then once I created that Smart List, since I created this on a view, this button up here, the Publish button, becomes enabled, and I can then publish this Excel report to be a refreshable Excel report. So it's always looking at my data on my SQL table. I can then create additional dashboards off of it. Since it's refreshable data, every time I get into it, it's looking at my current data. So basically, they're doing some of the legwork to create these refreshable reports, and then you can create dashboards off of them. That's an added functionality in 2015, and a really great feature for, the big thing that everybody likes to get into nowadays is dashboards for the executive team. So the next thing that came out with 2013 R2 was workflows, and they've had enhanced that functionality with what they're calling Workflows 2.0. And I'm just identifying 4 of the 9 workflows in the system for 2015, which, if any of you have been in older versions of GP and you wanted to do some type of workflow for batch approval, you actually set a password in to the batch
yeah, I'm in a web. Okay.
approval. And from that posting perspective, then you had to share the password with multiple people if you had approval process. Now you have basically the capabilities of setting up workflows within inside of GP. So all people that need the approval process obviously have to be a GP user. So from there, the functionality, it just needs to be configured. It comes installed in the system, and I come down to Tools, Setup, Company, and I come to Workflows, and I can set up my workflow maintenance, my calendar, and then my message setup. Basic workflows, they have the 4 basic ones here. For purchasing, I have financial workflows like general ledger, and I can basically, by right-clicking on the approval process, I can create a new workflow and to create steps within that workflow on how it's approved. This is a great enhancement on the basic functionality where most people got around the workflow before was coming into the posting criteria and picking a series, and then when they were doing general entry is basically creating a password here for batch approval that you then had to share with other people. So once you create the workflow and the email capabilities around that workflow, the users would get an email basically saying that there was a badge out there for approval, log back into GP, and approve the badge. So along with workflows is really what's called document attaching, and that's the great thing about the workflows in the system now is that you once you set them up, you can also set up the document attach functionality, and then the documents that you may attach to, like a vendor or a requisition. A requisition is something that was added into 2013, where a person can requisition something before it becomes a PO, but they can attach documents to it, and it'll flow with that requisition into the PO, and then that item went into the invoice. So from a document attach functionality, I can come in here and create and set up document attachments, allow the document attachments to provide a general location or default location where the attachments will be saved until they're added and into the database. And I can set the limit of the size that I'm going to allow for document attached, whether someone can delete an attachment, and if they can delete, what's the password, and then how those items flow throughout the system, and whether I can send an email with that attachment. So once I've set those capabilities up, what that does is basically enable the functionality of the attach button or the paperclip. So then I can go into any customer, and I'm just doing a vendor card now, but I could do an invoice, I can do a requisition, any of the functionality there. But I can attach something, and this document already has an attachment. I've attached something into the vendor record. I can attach multiple things if I wanted to from any perspective, and if I wanted to preview that document, it's as simple as opening it up in the attachment. If I have a workflow, obviously, then the workflow goes with the document. If I highlight it on the system, I can easily delete the row, and then that deleted, it keeps a record of the deleted item by putting it in the deleted tab. So here's my active attachments and my deleted attachments for this particular vendor. That's a great capability with the system. Obviously, I also can scan right into GP now. So if I had a scanner attached to my workstation, I can hit the scan button and add the document right from there. One of the other things that they're starting to do with GP, it's a little off topic from a perspective, but as long as we're on this window, is they're starting to integrate SQL services, reporting services into the application. So rather than going out to the website, I can add reports under my available reports and assign those to any vendor card or a vendor card that I want. Basically, by assigning these reports to a particular card or vendor, the report is then available for me to select, and it basically would then put the parameters from this window, the vendor ID, in this case, provide a 1096 form. I can, so that enhances the capabilities of GP in the fact that I'm now with SSRS, I can do exports more easily to Excel rather than being limited to a CSV file that then I have to clean up with this headers and footers. Exporting from SSRS, basically that the header and footer records are taken out for you. From my perspective, when I was an end user, that would help on getting trial balances to my auditors on a quarterly period that I always needed to clean up so that they could put into their audit program for sampling purposes. So basically, the document scan functionality here is what it's showing, since I don't have a scanner on my system. The same functionality of the document attached. When I have a scanner, I can basically scan right to GP. Some of the added functionality in 2013 R2, and it's also in 2015, is Excel paste. And the basic premises here is in the transaction entry window, and this is the only window that it's currently capable of going into, is maybe I have a lot of or some one-off integrations that I want to bring into GP, but the fact of the matter is I don't want to go through the hassle of setting up Integration Manager for this one-off integration. I want to simply just paste the information into GP. So what I would do, and it's used basically in this format, is the description, the account number, debit, and then the credit. I would have those entries here. When I'm done with the entry, I come in here without highlighting my title and row, copy that section, come back into GP, and click on the first account, and then hit the paste button. That's a lot easier than going into Integration Manager, mapping out all the integrations, and then bringing everything in. I still have to create my batch ID, the date that I want the transaction for, and whether it's a reversing type of transaction, what the reverse is in my reference to it. So I still have to create the header record of the transaction, but at least the detail, as accountants, we work a lot in Excel, and we may do our journal entries in Excel and proof them out before we bring them into the system. It creates an easy way of bringing the data into GP. So one of the additional functionalities of GP from a general ledger perspective is we've always had the functionality of doing intercompany. When we have multiple companies, we can easily post a batch in another company by enabling the intercompany functionality and selecting the company and posting it out into the other company for the review and post. So it keeps our do to, do froms in sync. The great functionality that they've enhanced on that intercompany is now I can inquiry on a journal entry. And I only have one company set up here, so I'm not going to see it. But I can show you what it'll look like on a video on the next slide. But I would have this intercompany button down here enabled, and I would be able to see the transaction all the way through to the company that I posted it on. So what it would look like is a little like this. I bring up the transaction. And then I hit intercompany. It would allow me to see the transaction in the company that I posted it to. The great functionality here also is not only can I inquiry against it, but I can now void my intercompany transaction, not only in the company that it originated from, but reach out into the company that it posted into for the do to, do from, and void it there too, keeping my do to, do from in sync. Before this functionality was added, you had to go out to another third-party ISV to actually get this. So it's bringing a lot more capabilities into GP that before you had to reach out to an ISV to give you that functionality. So from a management reporter perspective, a lot of things that I've seen from a management reporter is the fact that people like to see, or what I see here a lot is, well, can I get to the data inside of GP? Can I see my report inside of GP? So what they're doing here is adding that functionality in there. And it's a function of really just a deployment. So when I'm setting up GP, after I've set up GP or upgraded GP, I really just come into Tools, Setup, System, and I go down to Reporting Tools Setup now. So from here, before I had to, the two things that I deployed would be reporting services to a website and my Excel reports either to a network share or SharePoint. Now I got an additional button for Management Reporter. So what this does is by deploying where your service is and where the executable is, once I deploy this, it adds a navigation list so I can see all my reports. It'll pass the parameters of security if I have the security to do those. But I can navigate to the reports inside a navigation list on my home screen. So that I don't have to go reach out to and open up Designer or Report Viewer to look at the reports. I can actually now navigate to publish reports within inside Management GP. One of the other things from a management reporter perspective, from a data integration, is before in FRX I could drill down into GP, see the application, and really control what I could see, drill back perspective. And you were really limited in a management reporter's capabilities. So now in Tools, Setup, Company, under the Options button, I have the ability to, from a management reporter perspective, to enable general ledger reporting into management reporter, and if I have analytical accounting, I can enable analytical accounting into the system also. So this enhances the data that I am capable of viewing within management reporter to give me further analysis or reports on. So that's a great feature from that perspective. And other functionalities in management reporter that they've gone to with the newest release of 2012 is a web viewer. So you can distribute your reports via a web viewer that basically you email a link out to whoever you're distributing your reports to based on their, if they have security, they can open the link into Internet Explorer. They don't need the management reporter viewer now installed on their system anymore to view the reports. They can look at the reports that way. They can navigate through the navigation list if there's a tree on the report, and they can also then export the report to Excel right from Internet Explorer. So there's some added capability of management reporter perspective. So this is kind of looks, since I don't have management reporter on my system, this is basically what it looks like to deploy management reporter and what the navigation list would look like after you've deployed management reporter in GP 2015. And this is only capable in GP 2015. The reporting services and Excel reports are available in 2013 R2 and have actually been available in 2010 also. So it's a little end of the demo. But where can I get? So I've only touched on a couple of items, but there are several items that GP has enhanced. Actually, there's over 30 enhancements to 2015, and there were 30 additional enhancements to 2013 R2. Where can I go? Obviously, we got a team blog here by Microsoft. If I go to that blog, it's just an insider blog. They're doing a feature of the day where they discuss each one of the systems. And I can see all the capabilities. So if I go down here to purchase requisition, if that really interests me, it talks about a little bit about the purchase requisition, and then they've opened up their OneDrive to 2015. And if I click on the link, I can go right into all the features of the day that they've blogged about. I can see the capabilities of purchase requisition in their list. They have HR, CM batch approvals, the voiding intercompany transactions that I talked about. So I go to requisitions, and I basically get their online PowerPoint where it talks about self-service of purchasing, why it's cool, how you access the functionality, and maybe some screenshots of the requisition status that would be in your screen, and how to enter a requisition, and then kind of targeted roles that it would be applicable for. And I can easily, if I scroll up to their public site, I can see not only the 2015 features of the day, but when they came out with the blog for the 2013 R2, I can see the 37 plus additional features from R2 that they are also capable in 2015 that they talked about. So I got the requisitions before that I talked about, the Smart List Designer. So before Smart List Designer, I had to buy a third-party product called Smart List Builder from to get that functionality. Now it's Smart List Designer, and it comes with your perpetual license in the system in GP. So I no longer need additional module to get that functionality is now within the system. So I encourage you to go out to this website, look at the functionality that they have, follow the links to their PowerPoint and look at the additional enhancements. I obviously didn't cover everything that has been enhanced with the system because they've done one blog per day. That would be a lot of time, and time is essential to everybody. But those are some of the end user capabilities, some of the resources where you can go to get additional functionality or talk about additional functionality in 2015. I'm just going to open it up to any type of questions. Please put them into your chat box. Once we're done with the questions, then we'll move on to some other upcoming events within ATL.
Yep. So we're just gonna wait for everyone to type some questions into the chat box. Looks like we have one here. With GP 2015, are there any new exciting features to the web client coming? Anyone who's using the GP web client? Anything new they should expect with that?
So some of the functionality, obviously, if they've added the functionality to their dexterity code in the FAT client or the workstation, that functionality is still in the web client. The big thing that they're adding into the web client that was not capable before is the integration for your login. So I can have one unified login, whether it be my Active Directory login, and I can sync that Active Directory login to my GP login. So I don't need, basically, in a sense, once I sync them up, I don't need to remember my GP login. Once I log into the website for the web client, it then authenticates me with my GP login and gives me the access to the appropriate windows based on my security ID.
Okay, and we've got another question as well. When will GP 2015 be released? The ever-present question.
Right. So 2015 is due to be released here in December. So that's the first capabilities of the that we've heard. A release date we don't have yet, but the once Microsoft provides the release, obviously we'll let everybody know and that it's released and what the system requirements may be. We do have those already from Microsoft, and but they haven't basically given a upgrade path of what that's going to mean yet. Where I need to be on, say, version 10 or Service Pack or 2010 or 2013 to do a direct upgrade to 2015.
Okay, great. We have another question, a more specific one here. Can you import the distribution reference with GLP?
The distribution reference.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the GLPaste functionality and I want to do the distribution reference, if I go back to this Excel template that I set up, the description here is the distribution reference. So this would be your distribution reference, the account that it's going to, and then whether it's a debit or a credit. And then when I'm doing this, so say this was 100, I would need to put 0 over here, 0 here, and then 100 on this side. And whatever this may be, so maybe it's a cash deposit from whoever, but what I put in column A is my distribution reference. So once I paste it into the GP window, that would show up. Cash deposit would show up right here on this line, which is the distribution reference.
Okay, great. A few people are asking for the link to the website that you showed earlier. We can email that out to everyone after the presentation. Another question that we have here, does the workflow have a dependency or prerequisite of SharePoint?
No, it does not have a dependency on SharePoint. It does have a dependency that the user must be a GP user to basically go in and approve the workflow. So your user will need to be in GP to do that type of functionality.
Okay, and we've got a few people asking if 2015 is going to be fully a web client. This is a question we hear a lot out there, actually.
So all the functionality is available in a web client, and you can deploy it as a web client, but it still has the fat client capability. So they haven't limited you to only web client. Obviously, everybody has, or some people have a lot of customizations, which may include what's called VBA, Visual Basic for Applications. The functionality for VBA or that logic within VBA for customizations isn't capable within the web client. So, that may hinder your decision on whether you want to go with a web client or not, and just choose to deploy the workstation client or fast client. Not to say that you can't, redo your customizations, but depending on the amount of customizations that you have, that from a VBA perspective, would need to be rewritten either in .NET or Dexterity to be rendered in the web client.
Okay, and we just have time for about 2 more questions here. So is Microsoft going to make Dexterity open source?
There's been some rumors about that, and there's been some blog posts about it. No official word that I've seen yet, but it is capable of anybody that has the installer for GP of actually deploying some of the Dexterity logic if they have Dexterity capabilities. But it's a language that few people know, and so it's, I would say, does and can have such a learning curve that it's probably best to be left to the professionals that know it, and deploy it properly without screwing up your system.
We've got one more question here. Will there be a second release of GP 2015? So the way Microsoft is working now with their releases is in 6-month cycles. So just like we had GP 2013 and then 2013 R2, that's the same way they're going to be handling it from now on. So we'll have GP 2015 and then approximately 6 months down the road, R2 is their next major release. Answer that question. The confirmation question here. .NET customizations will work in the web client. It's not just limited to Dexterity.
Yeah, it's not just limited to Dexterity. .NET customizations will work in the web client. Obviously, some of the capabilities of the .NET and what it can reach within inside of GP may be limited, so you may need to basically do a hybrid customization that may work with some of the Dexterity code to reach that functionality, but .NET